Sometimes there are financial or legal issues that make it difficult to escape a sociopath, but often the ties that bind are emotional. I'm Donna Andersen, author of Lovefraud.com, and this is our Love Fraud series on 5 steps to recovery from the sociopath. Today I'll explain the 3rd step. Breaking dysfunctional emotional ties. I'll offer you 5 strategies that will help you do this. Okay, let's get started. Emotional bonds can be extremely powerful. Sociopaths are skilled at sinking their hooks deep into your head, your heart, and your soul. But breaking the emotional ties will set you free. And if you can't totally escape, if you have children with this person, for example, breaking the emotional ties will make it easier to cope. Now, to break an emotional bond, you may first need to prepare your own emotions. Remember, relationships with sociopaths are highly addictive. And as I explained a couple of weeks ago, pleasure is required to start an addiction, but pleasure is not required to continue an addiction. So even if you know the person is bad for you, it still requires effort and determination to break away. The first part of the process is in your own brain. You need to get through your head exactly what you mean to the sociopath, which is absolutely nothing. Here are 5 strategies to get clear on what your relationship is really all about. Number 1, recognize that you are being used. Sociopaths live their lives by exploiting others. It's critical for you to understand that no matter what your partner says or how much he or she cries, the objective is to keep you dishing up his or her narcissistic supply. And what exactly is narcissistic supply? Anything the sociopath happens to want at the moment. It could be money, food, sex, a place to live, a job, whatever. The sociopath may even just be enjoying the entertainment of pulling strings and watching you jump. In any event, this is not a relationship of give and take. It's you give and the sociopath takes. Here's number 2. Understand that the sociopath never loved you. The core of the sociopath's personality disorder is an inability to authentically love. A key component of love is caregiving, the motivation to take care of, support, and provide for the people that you love. Sociopaths do not do caregiving. They are literally missing the ability to put the good and welfare of other people before their own. Yep, they can fake it sometimes, especially while they're trying to reel you in. But any apparent actions to support you always have an ulterior motive. There's an agenda. Despite the sociopath's flowery language about true love, destiny, and soulmates, he or she never truly loved you. It is impossible. Here's number 3. Do not take it personally. You didn't do anything to deserve the terrible treatment that you received at the hands of the sociopath. To a sociopath, all people are objects to be used. Sociopaths are exploiters and manipulators, and nothing you could have done would have made this person treat you any better or would have made any difference. You were simply a convenient target. If the sociopath didn't do it to you, he or she would have done it to someone else. In fact, sooner or later, the next person who gets lured into the trap will be abused just like you were. Here's number 4. Give up hope. Hope is a virtue, except when you are dealing with a sociopath. Remember, once a sociopath is an adult, there is no rehabilitation. There are no drugs and no therapy that can turn a sociopath into a kind, loving, and honorable person. No matter how much the person pleads, no matter how much this person promises to go to therapy or to church, do not believe that he or she will ever fundamentally change. Oh, you may see some temporary improvement. Sociopaths can keep their nasty behavior under control when they want to, long enough to draw you back in. But sooner or later, the exploitation and manipulation will return. In fact, it will probably become worse. So, finally, here's number 5. Accept what happened. To break the emotional bonds, you need to admit, primarily to yourself, that the sociopath really did lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, abuse, and perhaps even assault you. It was no accident. You did not imagine the bad behavior. No matter how much the sociopath tries to blame others, including you, everything that happened did happen, and it was intentional. Accepting what happened does not mean that the sociopath's behavior is acceptable. Far from it. Acceptance means that you no longer make excuses. You open your eyes to the truth, no matter how painful that truth is. So, those are the 5 strategies to get your head straight. Next, you need to take action. If you are still wavering, feeling like your attachment to the sociopath outweighs your own interests, please review the previous episode of this Love Fraud Recovery series about finding the strength to choose yourself. This is the time for you to be your own best advocate. Here's the key. You need to decide that you are finished with the sociopath. You may have been hoping and praying for the sociopath to let you go. Well, you cannot wait for that. This person will never let you go as long as you are useful to him or her in some way. And you'd be amazed at what the sociopath considers to be useful. It could be that he or she just enjoys watching you squirm. Therefore, you must be the one to make the decision that your involvement is over. Once you make that decision, you need to stick with it. So, how do you do that? By implementing no contact. Here's what no contact means. You cut the person out of your life. You do not see the sociopath in person. You do not talk on the phone. You do not respond to emails or text messages. You do not visit his or her Facebook page or any other social media. If you are forced to have contact with the person, perhaps because you share children, any communication is strictly business, and you implement no contact in every other situation. What you want to do is change the dynamics of your involvement. No contact is important, because sociopaths are experts at breaking down their victims piece by piece. If you have any contact with him or her, you will be back in the game and the sociopath will continue to manipulate you. So, to begin your recovery, you must put him or her out of your life. With no contact, here's what you're saying. You are saying no more. Yep, there are going to be times when this is difficult. Perhaps you work with the sociopath, or as I said, you have children together. In these cases, you need to implement no contact as best you can, which I'll discuss in a minute. But let's talk now about situations where it is possible to get rid of the person, such as if you're in a dating relationship. What is the best way to establish no contact? Clearly, firmly, and permanently. I once read a terrific book called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, who is a security consultant. De Becker devotes several pages to the topic of rejecting an unwanted suitor, and these pages are among the most helpful in the entire book. De Becker explains that the one rule applies to all types of unwanted pursuit, and here it is. Do not negotiate. He says that once you have made the decision that you don't want a relationship with a particular person, it needs to be said one time explicitly. Almost any contact after that rejection will be seen as negotiation. De Becker says that if you tell someone 10 times that you don't want to talk to him, you are actually talking to him 9 times more than you wanted to. So that's counterproductive. But what if you must have contact? Unfortunately, you may have no choice, especially, as I said, if you have children with him or her. Then you want to implement what I call emotional no contact. That means you are emotionally disengaged from this person. You know what he or she is, and when the disordered behavior starts, you do not react. Even when they do something awful and you are truly upset or angry, you do not let them see it. Here is the goal of no contact: to get the person out of your head. In fact, that's the goal of breaking the dysfunctional emotional ties, to be mentally and emotionally free of the sociopath. No contact allows the sociopath's grip on your head and your heart to lessen. In this case, time is your friend. The longer you can stay away, the more the sociopath's power over you dissolves. When you think about breaking the emotional ties and going no contact with the sociopath, it may seem daunting. You may think that you can't bear to stay away from this person who is supposedly your partner forever. If that's the case, take the approach recommended in 12-step programs, 1 day at a time. Stay away from the sociopath today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day. Keep stringing the days together, and eventually you will be free. If you need assistance, you'll find it at Lovefraud. We have thousands of articles, including descriptions of how other people manage to escape the sociopath in their lives. We have webinars by therapists and other experts to help you recover. And I can also help you recover and ease the stress with deep emotional release and Reiki. And now I offer a 12-week program to help you visualize and create the life that you truly want. Just go to lovefraud.com www.talktodonna.com/talk to Donna, or there's a link in the description below this video. Even after the sociopath, full recovery is possible. Love Fraud is here to help you.